Testing. Go ahead. I'll let you work it. I don't want to break it. I don't have it in the budget. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. And we'll readjust for Dr. Nikki. All right, let everyone say amen. Oh, we can do better than this. Say amen. All right, I'm Clyde E. Duncan, Jr. I am the internship coordinator for the School of Communication here at Texas Southern University. Let me put my announcing voice on. KI, you know what I'm talking about. I am a public address announcer for USA Track and Field, Clap Clap Productions, but it has been given to me the honor to present to some, introduce to others, one who truly needs no introduction. This individual, did you hear me? I said individual. Y'all with me? Like I don't know her. She holds a science degree in political science from the University of Houston, a master's degrees in organizational management and education, and she has a doctoral degree in education. She has held the position of supervisor and office manager of Job Order Office at Workforce Solutions, employment counselor for Gulf Coast Careers, and a special education teacher at HISD. For 30 years, over 30 years now, she has addressed a multitude of topics with my students in my classes, ranging from resume writing, business and professional development, and effective workplace communication, just to name a few. She is currently the Director of Talent Acquisition and Development at the University of Houston, as well as the Director of Greater Texas and Louisiana Recruitment Consortium, that's called HERC. She is the mother of my 3 children. Come on, somebody. Y'all with me? We have been married 31 years. Come on, I did a little clap on that one. Talk to me. Ladies, deep now. Even though y'all not gonna do it. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand on your feet for someone who honestly might be too awesome. She will celebrate her birthday on tomorrow. Come on, somebody. I need a big clap for Dr.
Probably, because you are a lot taller. Okay. Thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. Okay, we're going to try that one more time. There's a reason why I do this. I'm a hiring manager. You only have one impression to make with an employer. If all you say is, good morning, what kind of impression does that make versus good morning? So we're going to try it one more time. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. I'm here to talk to you about resume writing. You'll see it on the screen in just a minute. I am going to pretty much give you the real deal. When I say real deal, I'm talking about what employers won't tell you. Okay? I've been doing this for over 30 years. So I can pretty much tell you that when it comes down to your resume, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but there is an ineffective and effective way to do it. And now that we have AI in the middle of this, it may not be a person like me looking at your resume. It could be software. And the difference between whether or not that software takes your resume or spits it out on the other end could be a big deal between the difference of you getting the job versus you not getting the job, okay? So I'm here to give you what that looks like, okay? Go ahead. So we're gonna talk about writing standout resumes. Next slide. So today we're gonna talk about what's a resume, difference between a resume and a CV, the different formats, what you need to know before making a resume, and also passing the ATS. ATS is an applicant tracking system, so when you go to apply for a job online, it's going to an applicant tracking system, which is typically using AI to screen your resume to determine whether you qualify or not, okay? And also some tips to hopefully help get you hired. Excellent. So did you know 1/3 of all job applications are rejected? Okay, that key word there is rejected before they even get to a recruiter because it's going through an applicant tracking system, okay? You'll never know it because are set up to be able to send you an automatic response that says, I received your application, you think all is well, but it spits you out on the other end, okay? So keep that in mind as we talk about this. Next slide. So like I said, Applicant tracking systems, it's resume software. That's literally what it is. It is going to scan, it's going to look for keywords. So if you've never heard about a keyword, I'll tell you about that in just a minute. It's going to look for whether you qualify for the job based on the job description that was given to you for the position in which you're applying for. It's comparing you even to other people, because the software we use will tell me whether or not you qualify or don't qualify, and it'll tell me whether you're more qualified than the last person that just applied for the job. So keep that in mind as we talk today. Excellent. So let's talk about how to write an awesome resume, okay? A resume is what stands between you and your dream job. So make sure your resume game is strong. Remember, your resume is the first thing they see. They don't see you. They see your resume, okay? So you have to make sure that you have the right information on your resume when you submit it. I like to tell people that when it comes down to the resume, you can be cocky on the resume, but you need to be humble in the actual interview itself, okay? And there's a reason why I say that. Because on the resume, you need to tell them what you can do and what you're capable of. But in the interview itself, if you come off too cocky, you just told your hiring manager you're not trainable. Okay? No one wants to hire someone that can't be trained, because none of us in the room know everything. We have to put ourselves in a position of saying, I'm willing to learn. But if you come off as, I know everything, or I'm real cocky about everything, what'll happen is they'll say, let me go to the next one, because I may not be able to get through to this individual by training them by what I need them to do, okay? So keep that in mind. Next slide. So the difference between a resume and a CV, anybody know? Okay, well, here I am to tell you. So many people will use a resume and a CV interchangeably, okay? They're not the same document, okay? If you're going into higher ed as a professor, yes, you're going to use a CV, because a lot of times your CV is going to talk about things that articles you've written, research that you've done, but nobody cares on a resume. On a resume, people want to know, can you do the job? Okay, that's going to be the biggest difference. Next slide. So CVs are more extensive. CVs could be 20 pages. Now, how many times have y'all heard keep your resume like 1, maybe 2 pages? CVs, a lot of times, can be 20 pages or more, because if you've done the research for whatever you're trying to get into, you're going to have probably article after article published content that they want to see how credible you are for this particular type of research or particular type of study if you're trying to be a professor at a university, okay? Next slide. Your resume is concise, okay? You're only going to include the skills and qualifications related to the position. So it is normal to have sometimes 10 different resumes, because you want to make sure that you cater your resume to the position in which you're applying for. Okay? And I'm saying that because if you pay attention to the job description is going to say, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. If you look at that and you compare it to your resume, if you don't see X, Y, and Z, 9 times out of 10, you don't qualify for the job. Now, AI has made it real easy for us to take our resumes. You can put it in chat and say, compare my resume to this job description. And even chat will tell you, you don't qualify. Okay? And it'll tell you what you need to add to it. Now, I'm telling you, you can do that, but I'm also telling you, be careful with that. Because if chat tells you to do it, if you've never done it, don't put it on your resume. I've been doing this 30 years. I can get you in an interview and pick out what you can't do. Okay? People who are seasoned like me, we know what to ask. We don't ask the questions that are on Google so that you can prepare for the answers to the interview questions. Okay? So you want to make sure whatever chat tells you, can I do that? And be real with yourself. It isn't, can I learn that? It's, have I done that? That's the difference for the resume, okay? All right, think about it. We can do a lot of things. We can be trained to do everything. But if you've never done it, it shouldn't be on the resume, because the resume is going to basically say, I've done this, okay? Go ahead. So here's some of the things that we call them faux pas on a resume. HR managers do not need to know your birthday. Okay, do you know why? Nobody cares. That's number 1. Number 2, it sets you up for discrimination. Now here's the thing. Most of you in this room probably don't fit age discrimination, because you have to be 40 years of age or older. Okay, that's the way the law reads. So I fit in the gap of age discrimination. I don't want them to know when my birthday is, other than the application, when you're filling out the actual application, because I don't want them to say, oh, because she's over 40, she may not be able to do the job, okay? That is real deal. It happens. Okay, so you want to make sure. Don't include your birthday. I'm going to tell you stay away from photos. Okay, and the reason why I say stay away from photos is because discrimination, once again, is real. If I know what you look like and you don't fit what I think the company should have that you should look like, do you think I'm going to move forward with you regardless of what your resume says? Okay, so leave it off. I would rather you get to the interview, that you surprise them with what you look like, but then you wow them because of what you can do, and then they have no choice but to say, I want you. Okay, so don't leave room for somebody else to make a decision about you before you even get to the interview table. Okay, you don't want to, and when I give you these are examples I see on resumes every day. Okay, just keep that in mind. So no photos. We don't need to know how many in your family. I get that. I'll see mother of two, blah, 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 blah. Playing on the sympathy doesn't work. All you did was just told an employer you have 2 kids, and that employer is now, well, if those 2 kids are sick, she might not come to work, and I need somebody to come to work. You see how I just framed that narrative that is probably not true? Okay? So keep that in mind. Religious affiliation. Whatever the religious affiliation is, you don't need it on your resume, and the reason why is because if it doesn't match the person interviewing, how do you know that person doesn't have a problem with this religious affiliation or not? Okay? Leave those things off that could be discriminatory toward you. Okay? Keep that in mind, and only you know what that'll look like. I'm going to tell you to take the pretty graphs off. Okay? Keep it simple and leave off your pets. I have people that put how many animals they have too. The key to it is, the reason why I tell you to leave off the graphs is because when it comes to an applicant tracking system, the applicant tracking system doesn't know how to read graphs. So it kicks you out, and it doesn't say whether you qualify or not. You applied, but it's like I never get to see your resume. Okay? So keep that in mind. Next slide. All right, so preparation is the key. What you need to know before you write your resume. Now, keep this in mind. You are the expert in you. No one else in the room is the expert in you. You are the expert in you. Keep that in mind when you write the resume. Next slide. So you got 3 types. You have chronological, you have functional, and you have combination. Okay? I tend to use chronological. I will also be the person to tell you it's okay to have more than 1 page. Okay? A lot of times in certain classes and or in certain areas, they'll tell you to keep it to 1 page. That's a lot of times because if somebody's got to read it, they don't want to read it. But I'm going to tell you, don't sell yourself short. If you've got more than 1 page and it's enough information, I'm not saying you got 2 lines on the second page. If you've got 2 lines on the second page and that's all you've got, reduce the font in your name because it doesn't need to be 50 font for somebody to see your name, okay? Keep it simple, that's the way this works, so that you can put it on 1 page. But if you have enough quality content to put on a second page, do so, okay? Don't sell yourself short. Next slide. So know yourself, know the job details, and be specific. They want to know, do you qualify for the job? If you speak in vague terms, no one's going to know, okay? As a recruiter, like I said, I've been doing this for over 30 years. University of Houston, we get over 1,000 applications a week. Now, my AI is turned on, but my staff don't use it, okay? I have 3 staff individuals that go through every single application that comes through, and they make a determination as to who qualifies and who doesn't for the job. We are only allowed to pass over applications that meet the minimum qualifications for the job, okay? I say that on purpose because just because we have it turned off to some degree doesn't mean other companies haven't turned it on all the way, okay? The reason why I don't have it on the way most companies do is because we realize the flaw. And the flaw is this: number 1, if you didn't format it a certain kind of way, it's kicking you out. But how do I know you weren't the most qualified person for the job? I want to be able to consider that. So if I don't have that piece turned on, it won't kick you out. My staff will look at you and make sure, do you qualify for this job, and move you to the hiring manager, okay? There are other people don't write their resumes like they do English papers. It looks different. Everybody has their own format. If that format doesn't match up to the ATS, it has a problem trying to quantify what your resume is trying to say. I, human being, look at it and make those determinations than a software, okay? That way you still have the advantage in trying to get a position, okay? Not all companies are that way because they're trying to be more efficient and they're trying to move quickly. Okay, but my recruiters are trained. I can look at a resume and tell you in less than 30 seconds whether or not you qualify for the job. But like I said, I've been doing it that long, so I understand what I'm looking for, okay? That's why you have to be very specific when it comes down to the job description that you're looking at and catering your resume to it. So the hardest part about a resume is being picky, trying to figure out what to put on it. You want to make sure that the information you put on is relevant, okay? And quantifiable. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay? So what to include in your resume? Let's talk about it. Contact information, name, phone number, email address, okay? If you live on campus and you have a house somewhere else with your parents, don't put both addresses, choose one, okay? Now I'm gonna tell you, don't put your address on there at all. No one's gonna mail you a letter. A long time ago, we put our addresses on it because when you got interviews, when you didn't get the job, they would not email you because we didn't have email. They would send you a letter. So you can take your address off. That's why it really serves no purpose at this point, okay? But if you choose to use it, okay, because remember I said there's no right or wrong, it's just effective and ineffective. If you choose to use it, pick one. We don't need two. Same thing with phone numbers. Pick one. You don't need two. If you have a voicemail, make sure it's professional voicemail. We don't need to hear the radio. We don't need to hear your favorite song, favorite poetry, and all of the above. I'm not making this stuff up. I promise you, when time is of the essence, if I have to sit there and listen to a long whatever, then the key to it is they hang up the phone, okay? The other thing is make sure your voicemail's clear. You know how many times I've called somebody and it says the voicemail's full? You just missed out on an opportunity possibly for an interview because we don't call you back. We move on to the next one. Okay, so keep that in mind. Next slide. Your professional summary. Some people have objective statements. Either way, you want to make sure that this professional summary basically is talking about what it is that you know how to do. A lot of times, this will line up with your elevator pitch, okay? And if you don't know what an elevator pitch is, that's when you basically get stuck with a hiring manager and you got basically 60 seconds to say who you are, what you can do to wow them, to possibly get you in for an internship and or a job. Okay? It should align with what that looks like. Next slide. Include your education. Now, everybody in this room either has a high school diploma or a GED. I'm going to tell you now, take it off your resume. You know why you're taking it off your resume? Because you're in college. High school means nothing right now, okay? Because you're at the next step, the next highest level, and that's what's going to mean most, okay? So you're going to put Texas Southern University, put whatever your degree is, and expected graduation if you have yet to graduate. Expected graduation becomes very important because if this job that you're applying for says you need a bachelor's degree and a year's worth of experience, if you put on there Texas Southern University and you have not graduated yet, do you have a degree? No. But the job requires a degree, so does that mean you qualify for the job? No. But if you put on there expected graduation May of this year, a lot of companies will say they're getting ready to get their degree, so let's consider them, okay? So keep that in mind. Put your expected graduation date. True story, we have individuals who will put on there they have degrees, and sometimes they put on there they have degrees from the University of Houston. Now, I do not need a company to check whether or not you got a degree at the University of Houston. All I got to do is just call the registrar's office and say, hey, did they graduate? And believe it or not, we have trouble verifying degrees because they're not telling us the truth. We don't hire you if you're not telling us the truth. We have contingencies on all of our offer letters. If you start today and it comes back 2 weeks from now that you never graduated, we let you go within those 2 weeks. And it's legal. Why? Because number one, you said on your application you had a degree. Number two, you said on your resume you had a degree. We checked. You don't have a degree. Therefore, it's called falsifying information. So companies are pushing back because they're trying to make sure individuals that we're hiring, basically, you're gonna stand true on your word that you are who you are, but we use companies to verify the information. They're gonna contact TSU to see whether or not you graduated or not, okay? That's why if you put expected graduation and somebody tries to verify, if it hasn't come through yet, it may be May, but you all know as well as I do, it takes time to confer your degree after graduation, okay? So that way it doesn't hold up the process of you getting hired, okay? Next one. You want to include your skills and relevant coursework. Okay, whatever those skills and relevant coursework are, make sure you put it on your resume, because while you may not have gained the experience in an actual job, you may have gained the experience in an actual classroom setting. You need to let them know that. That way they can say, okay, this person can do the job, okay? So make sure you add that to your resume. Next slide. You want to outline your experience, okay? When did you work there? Keep the format consistent. For those of you that I looked at resumes in Professor Duncan's class, a lot of times I'm like, format it, because I used to be an English teacher in HISD, so I look at resumes like English teachers look at English papers, okay? And I am one, because to me, if you have on there that you are detailed oriented and I see your formatting is off, I'm like, no, you're not. Because if you were, you would have corrected that. People use your resume not only to see if you qualify, but to see if what you say about yourself is true. And a lot of times about how you represent yourself on paper, whether it's the cover letter and or the resume, will determine how they think of you before they even see you, okay? You also want to describe in detail your responsibilities. Don't sell yourself short. Some of you in here already own your own business, okay? You may put business owner in whatever it is. When you think about it, a lot of times we'll put just the basics of what they do. But let's say you sell a product. You may put on there, you sell a product, you give this particular service. But the key to it is, what is involved in just the one product? Inventory. What is involved in that one product? Making sure that if there's any flaws, you're sending things back to the vendor. What is involved with that one product? You see, I just took one simple thing and I can expand it into 3 different areas. Does that make sense? You don't need to sell yourself short, okay? And make sure you quantify your accomplishments. What I mean by that is you can't just say, especially let's say you're in sales, I'm an excellent salesperson. That's subjective. I could probably prove you wrong. But the idea is if you say, increase sales at company X by 75%, now you've quantified it. It's a lot harder for me to disprove that you increased sales at this particular company if you're in sales, because now you've put numbers to it. Does that make sense? It's like saying I have great customer service. That is subjective. I can find you a customer that will tick you off and take you out of your character, unless you're at a Chick-fil-A. I don't know what their customer service training is, but everything is my pleasure, right? So the idea ends up being we have to be careful in how we represent ourselves, because in the industries in which we're going, we may be tested in those areas that'll take us out of character. And you want to remain in character, or like I say, protect your peace, okay? Next slide. So these are some of the things that people make mistakes on. You've got spelling and grammar mistakes. That's a big issue on a resume, because if I see spelling and grammar, that tells me you're going to do the same thing in an email. And if in this responsibility you have to email executive leadership, why would I want you to have spelling mistakes in that? Okay? You've also got wrong content information. You know how we check wrong content? All we got to do is go to LinkedIn. Let me compare LinkedIn with your resume. A lot of times it does not match. That says something to an individual like myself. Okay, where you fabricate the information. Did you really get this experience? Can you really do what you say you're going to do? The thing is, we don't know, so we move on to the next one, okay? Incorrect information. LinkedIn again. You said you worked there in 2025, but your resume says 2026. Make sure it is aligned. Make sure that it matches, okay? You've also got, don't tell me you're detail-oriented and you got a word starting over here and a word starting over here, and you've got your dates over here for one job and your dates over here for another job. You want to make sure that it's consistent, because that says something about you, especially if you're describing who you are in terms of your skill sets. We're going to grade you against your resume and cover letter first and foremost, okay? Next slide. You want to avoid vague terms. Like I said, detail-oriented hard worker. How do you prove that? How do you prove it? Though that's empty rhetoric. Those are just words to me. Because I have a lot of people that say they were a hard worker. They got to working for me, and I realized they were the laziest people in the world. Okay, so what about that resume, and what about your actual actions aligned? It didn't. So if you're going to tell me you're a hard worker, quantify it. You picked here. You took on extra duties here. You have to make sure that you quantify what that looks like. You want to cite instances where your skills benefited your team or employer. Okay, that says you're a team player. Remember I said people want people basically who can learn something. So if you come off that you're not coachable, okay, then the key to it is they're not going to hire you. Why? Because most jobs in this world, you never do it by yourself. It's always with a team. And even if you think you're in this job by itself, I promise you there are other positions within that department that play directly into what you do. They want team players. Okay, we say, I'm in human resources. We say all the time, we're one HR. But I'm in the talent acquisition team. I'm on the development team because I'm over professional development. We have an HRIS team. We have business partners. Now, they're all individual teams, but together we are one HR. So I understand my performance impacts those other departments as well. So that's why you want to make sure that you basically can cite instances where the team benefited from your input and skills. And then once again, quantify your accomplishments and use keywords. Now, keywords, if you don't know what a keyword is, look at the job description. All job descriptions have keywords. So if you look at your job description for the job in which you're applying for, usually at the beginning of the job description, the first sentence, first couple of words of each sentence usually is a keyword. Take some of those words. If it says responsibility will be to manage a team, take the word managed. If you've managed something before, put it on your resume, managed, and then finish the sentence. You want to make sure, because applicant tracking systems are set up to read keywords. Okay? They are set up to read keywords. Next slide. You want to use bullet points for better readability. Okay? How many of you in here like to read? I mean, genuinely like to read. Okay? That's not every hand in the room. Okay? I'm saying that on purpose. If your resume is in paragraph format, what if you get to somebody who does not like to read? Put it in bullet format. It's a lot easier. Okay? It's kind of like if you ever watch kids when they're watching TV, a lot of times on Saturday mornings, they'll stop for the commercial because the commercial's a soundbite that grabs their attention. On a resume, those bullet points are like sound points to it. You are basically picking out the most important pieces of what you know how to do. You're not making me read a paragraph to get to the point. Okay? I don't need to know what the plot is. I just need to know what is the point. So that's what those bullets do. It gives you a point of contact of you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Make sure you use clean, job-appropriate templates. For those of you who like color, I get it, but the thing is that big wide strip that goes down the side of the resume that a lot of times is in a whatever color and you've got your name and everything in it, applicant tracking systems don't know how to read that big wide strip. Keep it simple. Word format, nothing fancy. If you want that piece, use that for job fairs when you hand it out, but don't use it when you're applying online because you don't know which software is going to accept it and which one isn't. And I promise you, you can call me today. I could have kicked out the system could have kicked out your resume, and I know enough to tell you to get off the phone. And you'd never know whether or not they accept it or not. Thank you for applying for this position. Your application's been received. As soon as the hiring manager receives it, they'll review it and determine who is that they're going to call in for an interview. You're like, okay, thank you. Thank you for the update. And that's it. I don't have to give you any additional details. So you want to make sure that it's accepted on the front end. You want to avoid headers and footers. Applicant tracking systems really don't know how to read headers and footers as well. And then, like I said before, no pictures. Pictures have no data in it, okay? For an applicant tracking system, it kicks it out, okay? Like I said, if you want a picture, no right or wrong way to do it. It puts you in a different category to being looked at a certain kind of way. However, use it to hand to somebody, not necessarily send it electronically through an applicant tracking system. Next slide. So if you follow these steps, you'll not only have a winning resume, but you'll also pass the applicant tracking system. Because now, it isn't about 100% of what's on the resume. It's whether or not you can get it through. And if you can't get it through, you could be the best person for the job, but they'll never see you. Okay? They'll never see you. All right? Any questions? Yes? So the question is, I said no pictures. I'm saying no pictures if you're applying for a job online because you don't know if the applicant tracking system will kick you out because it doesn't know how to read the picture. If the way systems work, you can have a lot of content on it, but if it has something on it that's big enough that basically it sees it first, it's confused. It doesn't know whether to keep going and keep looking at your resume. So rather than doing so, it throws you out the other end as if you don't qualify for the job, and you could, okay? So my philosophy is if you want your picture on it, then go ahead and put your picture on it, but use it to hand to somebody. Like you have employers here today, you would hand them a resume, right? In that case. But if you're gonna apply online, take it off so that it doesn't miss the mark of going through to the other end so somebody can see your actual resume and application, okay? Yeah. So great question. So this is a trick. I'll just tell you it this way. Okay, this is a trick. Right now, if you don't have a lot of work history, more than likely you're going to put all the jobs that you've had. Okay? It's not until you really start the career that you're going to start having different things to be able to choose from. I would go ahead and put all the jobs, because what you don't want to have too are gaps. Like, oh, I worked here, and then I worked here. And it's only relevant to those positions, but you had a job in the middle, so it didn't like you had a 10-year, off period, right? So I would include it so that they see there's no gaps, okay? Because you can explain that. Does that make sense? Now, when it comes down to tailoring your resume, you're gonna look at the actual job description. You're gonna look at that job description, you're gonna say, each bullet that they have for the job description, can I do this? If the answer is yes, then do I have experience doing this? If the answer is yes, is it on my resume? If it's not on my resume, then now you are adding that information to the resume. Now keep in mind, the next job you apply for may not ask for that. It may ask for something else that you know how to do, but you never included it on your resume. So now you're tailoring that resume to that job description. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like asking the questions, can I do it? If the answer is yes, the only way you put it on your resume is, do I have experience doing it? If the answer is yes, you put it on there. Now keep in mind, your experience could be through classroom, because a lot of the degrees that are represented in this room, it's hands-on. It's not just book knowledge, right? It's hands-on. So you can put that information on there. You can put relevant coursework where you got the experience, your internships count, all of that counts, as well as any hardcore experience that you may have gotten on the job, and go from there. Okay? Anybody else? Okay, so what I've done for you all today to help you out, this right here is a guide, okay? Remember I said no right or wrong way to do your resume, just effective and ineffective. There's even some pieces on here I don't necessarily agree with, but this is one of the best samples that I've been able to find, okay? You are more than welcome to take one of these. This is a guide resume. So on this right here, it's gonna basically say, even under relevant skills, it gives you a definition of what a hard skill is. You're not putting soft skills. I cannot prove you can do the soft skill, but I could probably prove you're not as good at it as you think you are. But it's got hard skills on here, okay? It guides you through what to put on a resume so that people can see you, okay? Because remember, this is the first thing they see before they see you, okay? You need this to be accurate so that they call you in. And then at that point, when they get ready to call you in, work on your interview game. Because I promise you, most people that don't get the job, if they got the interview, it was something they did in the interview that kept them from getting the job, unless there was a whole bunch of people more qualified than them, okay? So feel free to take one of these, okay? Keep it, use it any way you want, share it with others, but it's gonna break down pretty much things that you need to put on your resume so that hopefully that you're seen, okay? All right, thank you for coming. These are up here. I think I did everything.
Oh, Doctor. So again, I appreciate you, dear. Her birthday's on tomorrow. Come on now. They grew up so fast. So she's been serving as our keynote speaker for some time. So we have a lot going on for you all. We do have vendors in the house, employers in the house, all that good stuff, celebrities in the house. Brother Oscar, did you want to say a word? Come on up. And then we have I call him Dr. Horn back there, Dr. Tyree from Houston Methodist Video Production, offering internship opportunities. So I would like for Oscar Hines to say a word, because you have a celebrity in the house, so I can't do him justice. So a few words, and he has a table set up for you as well outside. So just whatever you want to say real quick, and I'll have these two passed out for you.
Thank you, Dr. Duncan. Appreciate that. So I'm Oscar Hines. I work with the BIFA Film Festival. Last year we were here. We were excited. There was a number of students that were interested, and we're very proud of the program. We have a mentorship program that we are doing for future filmmakers. And we had this group last year, just like you all sitting in this audience. They produced a film. The film has won 3 awards. So Dr. Duncan, the other Dr. Duncan that was just up here, was about the power of a resume. If your resume says award-winning filmmaker, that goes a long way. So we want to invite you all, those of you who are interested in the movie making, communication space. We're going to be working with a limited number of students, but we would love to talk with you. We're right by the door on the left side here when you come out. So please come by and see us. We have a QR code that you can get. Sign up for the interested programs, and then we'll have a separate meeting where we'll talk with you a little bit more. And we encourage you to join because, again, it's a very unique opportunity to expand your skill sets. Thank you so much to Texas Southern. Dr. Duncan, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's been. You got some heavy hitters in the house. We also have Dr. Tyree Horn. He's with us. Come on up, Doc. He's going to tell you some things. He's the real Grey's Anatomy. Y'all hear me? I'm talking about. He's actually, come on in. He's actually one of the first internship locations that came through that actually partnered with Texas Southern University School of Communication. He has truly blessed our students and taken them to a higher level. And so he's here. And I want him to just kind of share, because I know some of y'all are like, what is he talking about, Grey's Anatomy? But he can break it down. He can really break it down. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Duncan. Hello, everyone. My name is Tyree Horn. I work at Houston Methodist Hospital. I work for DeBakey CV Education. I'm the new team lead and curriculum developer. So I know some of you all looking at me like this is not, I'm not a nurse. Anybody want to be a nurse? No? Okay, good, because I'm not looking for nurses. One thing that we do at Houston Methodist, y'all know our slogan, we are leading medicine, correct? And with leading medicine, we want to be a teaching hospital. As we being a teaching hospital, we are teaching the future doctors, the future nurses. And the best way to learn, in so many cases, because everybody's not going to read a book, but they will watch a video, right? So what I do is create videos so the doctors can keep their accreditation. So in order for a doctor to continue to be a doctor, they have to take these classes, CEUs, so they can keep their accreditation. So what I do, I provide the CEUs for them. So they watch videos. So we record open heart surgeries. Yeah, all the blood, everything that you may see, we record those. And with recording those, we actually make a curriculum for the doctors to actually watch the videos, be able to pause the video, answer a question, and at the end of the video, they can have all their credits saying that they watched the video. We actually use these videos to actually also teach future procedures on how we innovating things. Right now, the big thing right now is robotics. So with robotics, we actually have cameras inside while the robotic arms is doing the recording, and we make the recordings for that. So if you are on YouTube, when I first started at Houston Methodist on Monday, this past Sunday, it was 10 years ago, we only had 100 subscribers. Now we are over 130,000 subscribers. Yeah, I got so. So make sure that you come by our booth. I got some information. We are offering a couple internships for the summer and the fall. I can also tell you that a couple of the interns that actually came through Texas Southern is one is working at UT Health, Jackson. We have Don that was here. I think one of the radio guys here was one of my first interns. So we actually producing jobs for people. So this is definitely an area. When I went to Southern Illinois University. I'm from Chicago. Anybody from Midwest Chicago, South Side, West Side? Where y'all at? Okay, we'll talk. But I'm from Chicago. I went to SIU, and as I went to SIU, everybody had to say, "Oh, I'm gonna be on ESPN, or I'm gonna be doing the news." It's kind of hard to get in those fields. So medical was the last thing on my mind. I'm like, I never thought that this could be an option. Then one day I saw Dr. Michael DeBakey. They was doing the surgery of him, and they had a person on a camera smoking a cigarette over the body while he was doing the open heart surgery. So that just dinged to me. It's like, wow, why are they documenting this? That's what we're doing. We're documenting history. We're documenting procedures that can save your life. So come check us out. I got candy, I got some giveaways, and we have opportunities. All right? God bless you.
All right, I do believe that's going to wrap up this portion. They're here. We still have some coming in. They got stuck in traffic, all that good stuff. But fellowship, y'all, talk to them for you. You need a handout. I have some more up here for Dr. Nikki Duncan. Check network. See who's out there.